this is Lakshmi. Welcome to Sitare TV. Good afternoon. We are here at the Global Digital Forum at the Santa Clara Convention Center. And we have here with us the convener of this conference, Mr. Preet Banerjee, the CTO of ANSYS. Welcome, Mr. Banerjee.
Thank you, Lakshmi.
How has your experience been convening such a conference? It must have been a lot of stress, a lot of rewards.
It's been very, very exciting. I have, over my career, have attended many, many conferences around the world. I've given keynote talks at many IoT conferences, AI conferences, and so on. The vision was to bring together people from 4 horizontal technologies: IoT, AI, machine learning, cloud, and cybersecurity, but applying these technologies on 8 verticals such as healthcare, financial services, and so on. And the idea was not to just talk about technology for the sake of technology, but how the technologies apply to different markets. So creating this program has been, this kind of a conference has not been done before, but it was a really challenging thing, very exciting. We worked on this for more than 2 years. So this is a culmination of the collective work of a lot of people, the organizing committee, the program committee, the speakers, and so on. We have an outstanding set of speakers in this panel, in this conference. Everybody has said, wow, this is the highest quality. I've been attending the sessions, really high quality. So I feel very excited to be able to have put together the first conference of this type. I'm looking forward to many, many more in the future.
And I have with me Ed Liangosari.
Hello.
He is the managing director of Accenture.
That's right. I'm also the chief scientist of Accenture Labs. Yes.
So we had a fascinating opening keynote on artificial intelligence and the challenges and trends in it. So he specifically spoke on supply chain management and the impact it has. And of course, you touched upon the Stanford deep dive paleobiology project, which was also very interesting. So you talked about the challenges like upskilling. You mentioned that there'll be 130 million jobs created, though there'll be 70 million traditional jobs lost. Any plans on how Accenture plans to upskill its own workers?
Yes, in fact, we already do in the sense of it's actually a critical area to identify the space where the next generation will be and how we're able to get these new roles. One of the things that actually we do is, in fact, work with many of our clients to figure out, what are the space that will be actually automated, and actually sort of take care of their employees as well as part of the retraining program, so that it's not about the job loss, but it's actually an uplift overall. The quality of the works actually will be better because they no longer do a lot of clerical work, but more around getting more intellectually challenging work that will help them to be much more marketable as well. So it's a win-win situation across the board. That's why we want to get this upstart in the very beginning when we sort of take over some of the work to actually do the replanning process, and that how to train them. And we are doing this on a daily basis at this point.
Tell us something about your product, about the company itself.
All right, I'm producing solar-powered portable power plants. They're trailers. They're designed to replace diesel generators. Depending on what units, like the 25 kilowatt unit that I have, or the equivalent of a 25 kilowatt, it'll save you something in the neighborhood of $500 a month in fuel. And that's just an 8-hour day. If you're running it 24 hours a day, you save a lot more. It's clean air. It's running with the small unit I have is 4.3 kilowatts in the array. It's 100 kilowatts in the inverters and 16 kilowatts, 16 kilowatts in the inverters and 100 kilowatts in lithium-ion batteries. The unit weighs somewhere around 3,500 pounds. Compared to anybody else who's built anything like this is probably the most powerful and most lightest units ever that I know of currently on the market. This unit folds up and it's easily transportable. It can be picked up by a helicopter. It can be put in a 20-foot storage container and shipped off anywhere in the world. It could be hooked up as not only as power, but as distillation for desalinization for water. You could use this for many different things. Whatever you use electricity for, you can use this to do the same thing.
We have with us here Mr. Arun Bhattacharya from Adobe, who was on the panel for AI and autonomy. Welcome to Sitare TV, Mr. Bhattacharya.
Thank you very much, Lakshmi.
So, could you tell the viewers here, especially those who are not very technical, about how this AI is going to have an impact on autonomy in their lives?
Absolutely. So we had a very good panel discussion today with some luminaries, some very seasoned and intellectual folks from the likes of Google and Amazon, a robotics company from San Diego. And we talked about the impact of AI and where it's going and all about the machine learning models and things like that and how it's going to have an impact on the overall, day-to-day lives as we come to know of it. Like we see today, Waymo is a part of Google and, you see these self-driving cars roaming around, all the while in Mountain View and Palo Alto and so on and so forth. So there was a good discussion on how some of the data that is created, the trillions and trillions of data that is created from these cars and the sensors, on the amount of intelligence that is built into these cars, into driving some sort of autonomous vehicles, which is a direct extension of actually AI that brings in context into the notion of regular driving, right? Which probably can, lead to benefits such as safety, depending on how much data you're collecting and so on and so forth. Because as we all know, human beings, when we get tired and things like that, we are all prone to errors. So we talked about that. We talked about the notion of autonomous vehicles and autonomous mobile, vehicles in which, you can actually apply robots and apply AI into contextual activities that robots can perform hand to hand with human beings for better outcomes.
A data scientist, Mr. Daniel Blackburn of Globant. Welcome, Daniel, to Sitare TV.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So tell us something more about, say, a day in the life of a data scientist to people who are curious about this field.
That's a great question. I can hold it. So it's a tough question because data science is a very new field, right? If you work in a grocery store, you know that you go to work and you do a thing. Data science, you need to figure out what it is. You have to manage yourself to figure out what it is that you can do to provide value to your organization. Data typically is a messy thing that comes in through a bunch of automated processes in your organization, and it comes in to make a big pile of data that is a mess. So our job first and foremost is a data custodian. We get everything nice and tidy so that you're not dealing with garbage. But ultimately that data by itself is not valuable, so we have to extract insights, as we say. So make sense of this data. How do people click through websites? How do people in the case of what I talked about, agriculture, how do you take data of farm sensors as you're planting seeds and ultimately as you're collecting crops and use that to inform how to grow crops next year? So the big picture should be giving people, human beings, the next action that they should take to provide value to themselves if they're self-employed or to their organization so that they can improve their lives and the lives of people around them.
Featured a lot of interesting panels on blockchain, AI, autonomy, the media and entertainment, etc. And the organizer of this conference is Iconix. And we have here with us Mr. Abhimanyu Singh, who is the founder and CEO of this company that is hosting this event. Mr. Abhimanyu Singh, welcome to Sitare TV.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how has your experience been so far?
Well, it is a good experience. We are here for the first time. When we were exploring this, like how to organize one event over here, and we were looking out for the topics, we realized that there is not even a single platform where buyers and sellers can interact with each other, where there are so many innovations happening without noticing whether those innovations are commercial viable or not. So if you see the tagline of Global Digital Forum, it is the making business sense of innovation. So it is like so many innovations are happening, but are they viable? Just to give you an example, when we were studying our management, So there was a case study. There's a file cover, and the person made that was for $30, and generally it was just for $1. It was 30 times costlier. He said, you keep the paper into that file cover, the paper will never get destroyed. He even showed everybody that even if you throw it from the 10th floor and the car goes off the file cover, the papers are safe. So such a good invention. But everybody thought, who is going to throw the file cover from the 10th floor? Right. Innovation wise, it is very nice. But if those kind of innovations are required or not, if you go to the rooms today and you hear what kind of innovations are coming and the way people are asking questions, they are so relevant over here. It is very, very good interaction. Though gathering is small, I agree, many people are complaining. And this is our first time, so we cannot help much. But the kind of interaction people are having, they were not expecting this much. Generally, people listen and then they go. Smaller groups, they talk to each other a lot. That's happening.